I always get nervous about technology. I haven't been doing this since spring. I mean, I hope it works. Otherwise, we'll have to redo it. Hey, Mads, how are you?
I'm super fine. Yeah.
Yeah, we are here at Formland, and you just had a super inspiring seminar. How was it?
Indeed, yeah. It was really nice. I talked about the title for my presentation was Finders and Preservers, which is like I kind of digged into the whole trend of preserving culture. The whole handmade tradition, the analog trend, as a counter trend to everything that's virtual and digital and AI. And the interesting thing is that it's not just the old generation like me. It's actually, what is interesting is Generation Z. It's like the young generation that is driving this new analog trend. And that's why I think it's super fascinating.
Yeah. Do you have an example? I mean, like a cultural behavior that's analog.
Well, what's interesting, one of my examples was like in big cities like New York, the young generations are kind of gathered in so-called book clubs now, where they get together, they read books, they, in the evenings they meet, and everything is like analog. And there's like another example is the New Lotties. It's like a young movement where they also embrace everything analog. You're not allowed to have this one. So you need to have either an old Nokia or the flip phone from the 90s. So they are like against everything like modern digital. So it's interesting, meeting those countercultures in the younger generation. Super exciting.
I agree. But how should one introduce you, Mads? Except for being a rock star. Yeah. Well, I think you're a rock star in my world anyway. We're colleagues in the industry, but who are you for the audience here now?
Yes, my name is Mads, and I'm a Danish.
There's going to be like a line there with the name on it, so people will read it.
Okay. So I'm like a trend researcher. I'm like a lifestyle expert, working in the business for more than 20 years now. So like you, I research a lot. I do a lot of talks, presentations. I work with companies. So for me, it's all about collecting trends and communicate them on different platforms. Yeah.
I was thinking about if there's any differences between you and I. I mean, I'm Swedish and you're Danish, but I mean, we do have the same kind of like clients, I would say, basically. I think that you're more into like a color profession as well than I am, maybe. Are there other things you think it's different from us?
But it's true, yeah. That was also the way I started, working for Pi Gruppen in Denmark, where I'm back now, also doing color consultancies and taking part in developing all the color books and stuff like that. And I think that's interesting to me because I've been actually away from the more, from colors for many years, working more like with society tendencies, behavior, consumer trends. And now it's good, for me, it's good getting back to, working with color trends, defining colors. I think that's fun. But
there's so few men though that are working with colors. I mean,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think I'm perhaps the only one in Denmark. Yeah. But besides that, I think we have more or less the same background. I'm also from the university. I have a academic background, in modern culture. So I also worked as a journalist, a lifestyle journalist for many years, and like you, done television, about design and architecture. So yeah, I've been around, for years doing many different things. Yeah.
Where are we going then, Mads? I mean, it's August, and this is going to be aired in August. So this is August 2024. Where are we going? I mean, for 2025 then. I mean, if you give it like a short-term perspective, where are we going in 2025? What's happening?
I think the future seems more bright, and that's probably my key line for the next years, because we are coming from a time with a lot of uncertainties, after the pandemic and the whole financial crisis, the recession. So I think we will look into a more positive and optimistic future with all that comes along with that. So I hope consumption will go up, and we definitely need to get back on track. So I think also we will have see hopefully a lot of new innovation. And I know you talked about the same thing. We want new concepts. We are longing for something, for new innovation, for brands doing something surprising. Goddamn, surprise us, please. Yeah, so we don't need to see like a new color, small variations. We need to see new things, new takes, new innovations, new products. That really surprise us. And I hope we see that next year.
I think that a cheap way, or that sounds very valued, or an easy way out is collabs, or our collabs, because I think that we see an enormous amount of collabs. What's your... And I'm struggling with that myself, because I'm thinking, which ones are good, which ones are relevant? What's your take on collabs?
I think to me it's interesting with collabs, because I often see that's where the new things are happening. If you put two brands together that are not necessarily in the same business. It's like in music, where the biggest revolutions in music didn't come from one genre. They came from when you merged two different genres. You collabed it in music. And I think that's the same thing here, that's where the new things are happening. So I hope to see more collabs in the future. I think that could be a way forward.
I think we're going to see enormous amounts of collabs. So this show is called Design and Dessert. You didn't know that, but I'm telling you now. So, exactly. So we need to eat some sweets. That's part of the show. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sweets.
Do you like sweets?
Yes, I like sweets, but I haven't. I've got for the last year, I very rarely eat sweets.
Why?
I don't know. It's kind of. I just decided to change my habit and becoming very healthy.
Well, you talk about health a lot, and longevity. That's your thing as well. Yeah. Eat your sweet. But do you have like any preferences in sweets?
Yeah, I think potato chips. Everything's salty, so actually not sugar, but everything that's salty is my go-to.
Do you have like let's say you have a Friday dinner and you just throw something up together and for like a dinner, what would you do? I mean, in the snacks or sweet section.
Oh, I would definitely, salty nuts, which I really enjoy. And then maybe, I also have a weakness for ice cream. I love ice cream. So each year we go, I spend my holidays in Italy. And, I can't wait. Exactly. I can't wait to have the ice cream. It's like whenever we hit Italy, it's like the first thing I do. It's like now I'm allowed to eat ice cream. So I waited a whole year. Terrible.
So let's go back to business. We're at Formland. Where should we start talking about Formland? Say something intelligent about Formland. He's chewing his chocolate thing there. Yeah.
No, I like Formland very much. I worked with Formland for ever since I think 2007, and I think the fair is doing everything right. They make super inspiring exhibitions, and they try to make the whole thing about fair an experience. So. And even though it's a small fair, I think it's still a very relevant fair. And I know all fairs are struggling these years after the pandemic, but I think Formland is going in the right direction. Definitely, yeah.
Do you think? What about about fairs in general? I mean, do fairs have a future, or are we all going to be replaced by AI? Yes, but
eventually. Yeah. No, I think I'm one of those persons who really believes in fairs for the future. I think they have a future. We just need to find out, on what kind of format does the fair have. But I think the personal meeting, the meeting between the brands and the buyers, the designers and the brands, everyone in the business, we still need, to get together. Maybe it's not because we want to, make deals or buying, but we need to talk, we need to meet, we need to network, we need to get inspired. So I think that's the future for the fairs. They are super relevant because of the personal meeting. Yeah.
How many fairs do you do per year?
Oh, I used to do a lot before. Now I kind of, not so many anymore, but they're like a key fairs that I always do. Of course, Milan is like the key fair of the year. But I also do some of the German fairs. Paris is that's a thing for me to do every year. Sometimes the German fairs, like Ambiente. And sometimes I pick last year I was in Valencia doing the furniture there, just to check it out. I like going to a fair just to check them out to see, okay, is there something here that is useful? Is there something that I can get inspired by?
Well, do you have a secret tip on how to do a fair? Let's say there's a viewer who wants to be a trend hunter as well. How do you do a fair from a trend hunter perspective?
A lot of research before the fair.
Do you?
Yeah. So that's the key.
We're different there.
Yeah, that's the key thing for me. That's to do my homework. Find out what brands are there. What's the story about the fair. Yeah, a lot of research. And then another thing, if you're a fair the first time, also check out the location, the destination. For me, if you're in Valencia and you're there for the first time, spend a day or two also, check out the city. What is the city like? Are there any shops, restaurants, hotels, bars, wine bars? You need to check out. Get the whole package. Yeah. So spend another 1 or 2 days. Besides, going to the fair. That's, as a trend hunter, that's essential. Yeah.
Do you spend enough time at the fair? Sometimes I struggle with that too. I struggle with that. It's like when I go to Paris, for instance, I give it at the most 2 days, but it's like one of the largest, and it's like it should be the 3 or 4 days. Do you spend enough time at the fair?
It's always. I'm always a little. I'm struggling with that. And it's always I spent 1 or 2 days at the fair in Maison as well. And I always wonder, did I spend enough time? Did I see everything? But I also need to go into Paris, to spend at least 1 or 2 days in Paris. So it's a matter of how long time do I have there in total. One fair that I always where FOMO hits me every year is Milan. I'm even though I maybe spend 3 or 4 days there, I always feel like I could spend more there. So yeah.
Regardless of how many days you are.
Yeah.
Last question. We're already up to our 15 minutes. So last question. I know this is a quick show. Let's say there's a viewer there who has a super trendy product that they think would be your thing. How should one go about? Let's say I'm a producer and I think that my throw or my blanket is really unique and has a unique angle. How do I get that into your head?
Well, that's a good question. That's a super good question, Stefan. But if it was me, I would definitely, again, do my homework. I would definitely, I would also test it. You need to test it with people. I think you said on your presentation that every trend you are investigating, you need to test up against figures, you need to test them up against other experts. So I think if you have an idea for a new product or you're into launching a new product, you should definitely test it up against potential consumers from the target group that you are reaching. Always do testing to be on this. You need to be 120% sure that you are hitting the market right. Yeah.
And that's our 15 minutes. And I think you did well, Matt. I'm super happy to have you. But he's such a TV star, so you're used to this anyway. So, all right.
Exactly.
Okay, Matt.